guys, today I'm going to teach you how to embroider a rose. This is a super simple and straightforward technique, so it's great for beginners. For this project you'll need a piece of fabric, an embroidery hoop, and embroidery floss and a needle. So first what we're going to do is set up our embroidery hoop. So you're going to separate the hoop and you're going to lay your fabric over the inner hoop and center that. You're going to open your outer hoop and lay it on top, and you're going to tighten this. Once you tighten that, grab the edges of your fabric and pull them so that the fabric in the hoop is nice and taut, and after that you're going to screw this tighter one more time. Tug on the fabric a little more, and you can test it out just by tapping it. Make sure there's not too much give. That should be good. Alright, next we're going to grab our thread. Now, how much thread you use really depends on how big you want your rose to be. However, this stitch does tend to eat up a lot of thread, so I say it's always better to overestimate than underestimate. I'm using about 2 feet here to be safe. So just grab your needle and thread this through, grab it on the other side, and you're just going to leave a couple inches on this side over here. Now on your longer end, you're going to go all the way to the end, and you're going to knot this however you'd like. The way that I knot it is I grab the thread here, loop it over once, take your thumb, push it to the end to roll this thread, and take your middle finger to the top, pull it all the way down, and you have a pretty sturdy knot. And we are ready to start our rose. So this stitch that we use is called a pinwheel stitch, and you can freehand it, but I like to sketch it out with a pencil first just to make sure it turns out even. So what you're going to do is you're going to sketch out a circle pretty lightly, the size that you want your rose to be. From there, you're going to mark the center, and you're going to split up the circle evenly using 5 lines. Now if you're doing a larger rose, you can do more lines. Smaller rose, I usually do 3. As long as it's an odd number, the stitch will still work. But either way, we are ready to start. So grab your needle, and you're going to come underneath and pull right through the center of the rose that you marked. Pull the needle all the way through. And you're going to go to the top of the first line you marked. Come underneath at the end of the second line you marked. And back through the center. So really what we're doing is we're outlining the guiding lines that we drew. Just repeat that until you've gotten through all the lines that you marked. Once you've finished those lines, you're going to come up just next to the center, right next to one of the lines you've already made. And from this point on, really all you're doing is weaving. It's really simple. So you're going to go clockwise, and you're going to go over that first one and under the second stitch, over the third stitch, under the fourth stitch, over the fifth stitch, and this time under the first stitch. And that's why we keep it an odd number of lines, so every time you're alternating, and that's what gives you that rose shape. So as you're doing this, if you run out of thread, all you have to do is knot it underneath, which I'll show you at the end how to finish the stitch off, and pick up some more thread and start right where you left off. That's looking pretty good. So from here, you're going to finish your stitch by putting your needle underneath your rose and pulling all the way through, so that stitch should be hidden. You shouldn't see where you did that. You're gonna flip this over and you can finish this up. There's a bunch of different ways to finish this up. What I like to do, really simple, is pick a stitch that you've already made in the back, loop this through, and loop it around there one more time, leaving some thread, so don't pull it all the way through. What you're going to do is you're going to take your needle, you're going to put it through the loop once and twice, and you're going to pull this all the way. One more time. Find that stitch that you've made in the back, put your needle through the loop once and twice, and pull this thread all the way to get that knot. And from there you can just cut that right off, and we have our rose. To finish this up, you can trim the excess fabric here, you can hot glue it down, really anything, any way that you'd like to clean up those edges. So obviously we just made one rose, but it looks really great when accompanied by other roses and some leaves, like this other project that I did a couple months ago.